elder brother. My elder brother was 5 years older than me but only 3 grades ahead. He had started studying at the same age as I did, but when it came to something as important as education, he did not believe in rushing. He wanted to lay a strong foundation for the grand palace he intended to build. A task meant for 1 year would take him 2. Sometimes even 3. After all, if the foundation isn't strong, how can the building stand firm? I was younger, he was older. I was 9 years old, and he was 14. He had a natural-born right to admonish and supervise me. And for me, good manners meant treating his commands as the law. He was highly studious by nature. He always sat with a book open, and perhaps to give his mind a break, he would sometimes draw pictures of birds, dogs, and cats, sometimes on notebooks, sometimes in the margins of books. Occasionally, he would write the same word, name, or sentence 10 or 20 times. At times, he would copy a couplet repeatedly in beautiful handwriting. And sometimes he would create such phrases that neither made sense nor had any coherence. For instance, once I saw this written in his notebook. Special, Amina, brothers brothers, in fact, brother brother, Ragashyam, Shriyat Ragashyam, for 1 hour. And below it, there was a sketch of a man's face. I tried to make sense of this riddle, but failed. Nor did I have the courage to ask. He was in the 9th grade, I was in the 5th. Trying to interpret his creations would have been like speaking out of turn. I had absolutely no interest in studying. Even sitting with a book for an hour felt like climbing a mountain. The moment I got a chance, I would sneak out of the hostel and head to the playground. Sometimes I would throw pebbles, sometimes fly paper butterflies. And if I found a companion, then nothing could be better. One moment we were climbing the boundary wall and jumping down from it, the next we were attacking the gate, pushing and pulling it as if enjoying a ride in a motor car. But the moment I returned to the room and saw my elder brother's fierce expression, my soul would freeze. His first question would always be, "Where were you?" Always the same question, in the same stern tone. And I never had a response, only silence. I don't know why I couldn't bring myself to simply say, "I was just playing outside." But my silence confessed my guilt, and for my brother, there was no option other than to offer me a verbal punishment with words laced with anger. If you study English like this, you'll keep studying your entire life and still not learn a single letter. Learning English isn't child's play. You think anyone and everyone can learn it? No. It's not for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to become an expert in English. You have to strain your eyes day and night and burn the midnight oil before you can master this language. And even then, what mastery? It just appears as if you've learned something. Even great scholars can't write proper English, let alone speak it fluently. And I say, how thick-skinned you are. Even after seeing me, you don't learn a lesson? Don't you see how hard I work? You see it with your own eyes. And if you don't, then it's your eyes at fault, or your brain. There are so many fairs and festivals happening around, but have you ever seen me go? Every day there's a cricket or hockey match. Do I even go near them? I'm always studying. And even then, I end up spending 2 or 3 years in one grade. So how do you expect that you will pass just by wasting time playing games? It takes me 2 to 3 years, you'll rot in the same grade your entire life. If wasting your life like this is what you want, then it's better you just go home and play gilly-danda to your heart's content. Why waste our elder brother's hard-earned money? When I heard this scolding, I would start crying. What answer could I give? The fault was mine, so who else should suffer the scolding? My elder brother was a master of giving lectures. He would say such piercing things, shoot such sharp proverbs and words of wisdom that my heart would feel shattered into pieces and all courage would leave me. I didn't feel capable of putting in that kind of backbreaking hard work, and in that state of despair, for a little while, I would think, why not just go back home? Why ruin my life by taking on a task beyond my ability? I was okay with staying a fool, but that kind of effort made me dizzy. But then, after an hour or two, the clouds of hopelessness would clear, and I would resolve to study with full dedication from now on. I'd immediately make a detailed timetable. After all, how could one start anything without a proper plan or scheme? In the timetable, there was no room at all for play or games. Wake up early in the morning, wash up by 6 a.m., have breakfast, and start studying. 6 to 8, English. 8 to 9, Arithmetic. 9 to 9:30, History. Then lunch in school. Return from school at 3:30, rest for half an hour. 4 to 5, Geography. 5 to 6, Grammar. Half an hour walking outside the hostel. 6:30 to 7, English Composition. Then dinner. 8 to 9, Translation. 9 to 10, Hindi. 10 to 11, Miscellaneous Subjects. Then rest. But making a timetable is one thing, following it is quite another. Right from the first day, I would start neglecting it. The joyful greenery of the field, the gentle breeze, the bounce and rush of football, the tactics and tricks of kabaddi, the speed and agility of volleyball, all of it would pull me with an unknown and irresistible force. And the moment I got there, I'd forget everything. That dreadful timetable, those ice training books, none of it would even cross my mind. And then, once again, my elder brother would get his chance to lecture and reprimand me. I would try to avoid his shadow, make every effort to stay out of his sight. I'd enter the room on tiptoe, hoping he wouldn't notice. But the moment his eyes lifted toward me, my soul would leave my body. It always felt like a naked sword was hanging over my head. And yet, just as a person remains bound by attachment and desire even in the face of death and disaster, I too, despite all the scoldings and lectures, could never truly give up my love for play and games. The annual exams took place. My elder brother failed, while I passed, and even stood first in my class. Now only 2 years of distance remained between us. My heart wanted to confront him boldly. So where did all your intense hard work and discipline go? Look at me. I played around freely and still topped my class. But he looked so sad and defeated that I felt sympathy for him. The idea of rubbing salt in his wounds now seemed shameful. Still, I did feel a bit proud of myself. My self-respect grew. His hold over me loosened. I began playing more openly. My heart was strong. I thought, if he scolds me again, I'll say it outright. What have you achieved by burning the midnight oil? I topped the class while playing cricket and kabaddi. even though I didn't have the courage to say this aloud. My attitude made it quite obvious. My brother no longer intimidated me. And he noticed it too. He had a sharp mind. One day, when I returned just in time for lunch after spending the entire morning playing gilli danda, it was like he drew his sword and pounced. So, you passed this year and came first, now it's gone to your head. But listen, brother, even great people couldn't hold on to their pride. What's your worth? You've read about Raven in history, right? What lesson did you take from his character? Or did you just read it for the sake of reading? Just passing an exam means nothing. The real thing is developing understanding and wisdom. Whatever you study, understand its deeper meaning. Raven ruled the entire earth. Such kings are called Chakravarti emperors. The British Empire is vast today, but we don't call them Chakravartis. There are still nations that haven't accepted their rule. Raven was truly a world emperor. Even gods were his servants, even fire and water obeyed him. But what was his end? His arrogance wiped out every trace of him. Not a soul remained to offer him a drop of water. A man may commit sins, but he should never be arrogant. Arrogance destroys both the worldly and the spiritual. You must have read about Satan too. He thought he was God's most devoted servant. And in the end, he was thrown from heaven to hell. Shahrum also once grew arrogant, and died begging on the streets. You've just passed one class and already lost your head? If this is how you behave now, what will you become in the future? Let me be clear, you didn't pass by hard work. You just got lucky, like a blind man stumbling upon a quail. But luck doesn't strike twice. Even a blind man can sometimes hit the target in gilli danda. But that doesn't make him a good player. Don't mock my failure. Come to my class, and you'll sweat blood. When you're forced to chew the iron nuts of algebra and geometry, when you're made to memorize the history of England, you'll know the struggle. It's no small task remembering the names of kings. There were 8 King Henrys. Remembering which event happened during which Henry's reign is no joke. Write Henry VIII instead of Henry VII, and all your marks are gone. You won't get even a half mark, not even a 0, just nothing. And don't even get me started on geometry. Write ABJ instead of AJB, and all your marks are cut. No examiner bothers to ask what difference it makes. Whether you eat rice, dal, and roti, or dal, rice, and roti, what's the difference? But examiners don't care. They just look at what's printed in the book. They want students to memorize every letter, and they call that education. And what's the use of reading this nonsense? Drop a perpendicular on this line, and the base will be twice the height. So what? Let it be 4 times or half, what's it to me? But if you want to pass, you have to memorize this nonsense. Then they say, write an essay on punctuality, not less than 4 pages. You open your notebook, pen in hand, and cry over the topic. Everyone knows punctuality is a good thing. It brings discipline to life, makes people love you, helps you succeed. But how can you write 4 pages about it? Something that could be said in a single sentence, why stuff it into 4 pages? I call this stupidity. It's not time saving, it's time wasting. We want people to say what they need to, quickly and clearly. But no, you must fill 4 full skate pages, no matter how. If this isn't oppression of students, what is? And the biggest irony. They say, write a short essay on punctuality. It must not be less than 4 pages. Wonderful. If this is short, maybe a full one would be 100 to 200 pages. Run fast, but slowly. Isn't this absurd? Even a child can understand this contradiction. But these teachers don't seem to have that sense. Yet they proudly call themselves educators. Come to my class, dear boy, and you'll understand the real struggle. Then you'll know the value of flour and lentils. You've topped your class and think you're above the ground. That's why I'm advising you. Yes, I may have failed, but I'm older than you. I have more experience of the world. Remember what I say, if you don't, you'll regret it. School time was near. Otherwise, who knows how long this lecture would have gone on. That day, my food felt tasteless. If this is how I'm scolded after passing, I wonder what would happen if I failed. Maybe they'd kill me. The terrifying picture my brother painted of his class scared me deeply. It's a wonder I didn't run away from school and flee home. Yet even after such harsh scolding, my disinterest in books remained the same. I never missed a chance to play. Yes, I studied, but only enough to complete the daily homework and avoid getting humiliated in class. The confidence I had gained after passing slowly faded away. And once again, I began living the life of a thief. Then came the annual examination, and by some strange coincidence, I passed again while Bhai Sahib, my elder brother, failed once more. I hadn't studied much, yet somehow topped the class. Even I was surprised. Bhai Sahib, on the other hand, had worked immensely hard. He had memorized every single word of the course. He would study until 10 at night, wake up at 4 in the morning, and continue until school time at 9:30. His face had lost its glow, but alas, he still failed. I felt sorry for him. When the results were announced, he broke into tears, and so did I. The joy of my success was halved. Had I also failed, Bhai Sahib might not have felt so hurt. But who can defy destiny? Now there was only a 1-class difference between Bhai Sahib and me. A wicked thought crept into my mind: if only Bhai Sahib failed one more time, we would be in the same grade. Then how would he continue to scold me? But I quickly and forcefully expelled this shameful idea from my heart. After all, he scolded me only for my own good. It might feel unpleasant at the moment, but maybe it was due to his guidance that I kept passing with such good marks. This time, Bhai Sahib had become much gentler. Many times he let go of chances to scold me, showing great patience. Perhaps he too had realized that he no longer had the same authority over me, or if he did, it was much reduced. I began to enjoy more freedom and took undue advantage of his tolerance. I started to believe that I would pass no matter what, whether I studied or not. My fate was strong. So the little bit of studying I used to do out of fear of Bhai Sahib also stopped. I had developed a new passion, kite flying. All my time was now devoted to it. Still, I respected Bhai Sahib and would fly kites only when he wasn't around. Preparing the string, tying the thread, and organizing kite tournaments, these were all now done secretly. I didn't want him to suspect that my regard for him had diminished. One evening, I was running far from the hostel to catch a loose kite. My eyes were fixed on the sky and my mind was on the kite, which, swaying gently, was descending toward the earth like a soul leaving heaven, ready to receive new worldly impressions. A whole battalion of boys, armed with sticks and bamboos, was running to welcome it. No one was aware of who was ahead or behind. Everyone was soaring with the kite in their imagination, flying in a world where there were no motorcars, no trams, no trains, only freedom. Suddenly, I bumped into Bhai Sahib, who was probably returning from the market. He immediately grabbed my hand and said sternly, "Don't you feel ashamed, running after a cheap kite with these street boys? Don't you realize that you're no longer in a junior grade? You're in 8th now, just one class below me. A man should have some self-respect." There was a time when people would become deputy tahsildars after passing 8th grade. I know many middle schoolers who are now top magistrates or superintendents. Some have become editors of newspapers and leaders of our nation. Great scholars work under them. And here you are, chasing kites with street boys. It hurts me to see your foolishness. You are intelligent, no doubt. But what's the use of intelligence if it kills our sense of dignity? You probably think that since you're just one class below me, I no longer have the right to correct you. But that's your mistake. I'm 5 years older than you, and even if we end up in the same class next year, and maybe you even surpass me the year after, the 5-year age gap will remain forever. Not even God can change that. I have more experience of life and the world than you do. That's something you can never match, even if you become an MA, a PhD, or even a Doctor of Arts and Letters. Understanding doesn't come only from reading books. Our mother never passed a single grade, and our grandfather probably didn't go beyond 5th grade. But no matter how much we study, they'll always have the right to guide and correct us. Not just because they're our elders, but because they have more life experience. If I were to fall sick today, you'd panic. You'd send a telegram to grandfather and wouldn't know what else to do. But if grandfather were in your place, he wouldn't panic. He'd calmly diagnose the illness and, if needed, call a doctor. Forget illness. Even in managing a monthly budget, you and I know nothing. We spend whatever money grandfather sends us by the 20th or 22nd of the month, and then we're penniless, unable to eat breakfast, avoiding the washerman and the barber. But grandfather lived most of his life with dignity, supporting a household of 9 people on even less. Look at our headmaster. He has an MA, not just from here, but from Oxford. He earns 1,000 rupees a month. But who manages his household? His old mother. When he managed it, he was always in debt. Since his mother took over, it's as if Lakshmi herself moved in. So, dear brother, let go of the thought that you're now close to me in rank and therefore independent. As long as I'm around, I won't let you go astray. And if you don't listen to reason, I can still, showing his hand, try another method. I know these words may feel like poison to you. I was humbled by this new argument. I truly felt my own smallness and developed deep respect for Bhai Sahib. With moist eyes, I said, "Never. Everything you've said is absolutely right. You have every right to say it." Bhai Sahib hugged me and said, I don't object to kite flying itself. Even I feel tempted sometimes. But if I go astray, how can I guide you? That duty rests on my shoulders. Just then, a cut kite floated above us. Its string was dangling down. A crowd of boys was running after it. Bhai Sahib, being tall, leapt up, grabbed the string, and ran toward the hostel with all his might. I ran after him. The end of the beautiful story.